afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting and everything amazing Propagandacaster. Me, your host, Imperial Dane, Master Propaganda here, Psych Defender of the Fatherland, off here till 1 vs 1 on Crossroads. Crossroads, not crossing, in other words. I have this thing with names like, and they sound slightly similar. For some reason, my mind at times, messes them up. For example, for ages I couldn't tell apart Kesselring and von Rundstedt, and in a sense they don't sound the same, but because Ring and Run, are basically circular names, my brain sort of kept messing them up. Anyways, Crossroads. In the south, we got Luciano fighting for the Wehrmacht, Germany, Deutschland, forming up here let's just say 76th Infantry Division. West in the north, we got the Taxman fighting for the Soviet Union, Socialism, Communist Stalin, fighting here for, with the 10th Mechanized Corps. And we got here defensive power straight away for Luciano with double Osttruppen, MD42's Taxman with shock motor heavy tactics. An aggressive setup right here. In some ways on Crossroads. Double conscripts out there, and certainly we don't see shock mode heavy tactics or defensive doctrine a lot. Even with defensive doctrine, they're getting buffed up and changed a lot. It hasn't really, shall we say, aggressively caught on amongst the Wehrmacht players, despite you theoretically offering Osttruppen and Stugis, which, to an extent is something that's very popular with some players. So we'll have to see how Luciano does with it. Of course, Luciano being a veteran, if not straight up expert player, and the Taxman, I believe, is actually Burmy, of course, is very similarly a very tough and experienced player. But also, again, shock motor, not very, played, but still offers the Shocktroopers are certainly quite strong infantry. You got repair kits for the conscripts, very strong ability, if you can sort of get enough there. Armored vehicle detection, not huge, but we got bombing runs. Of course, we got the ISU, which is recently popular in team games, but, doesn't make a huge appearance in 1 vs 1. So, anyway, triple Osttruppen out here for Luciano. Comes going to fire Osttruppen moving ahead here. In the centre, we got Osttruppen going up, and they might try and go for the cuff on there of Taxman. And these got conscripts as Osttruppen with the MD42 pioneers coming in as well here. Taxman's conscripts are being absolutely shredded. He's bringing up more conscripts to the field. In the centre, the Osttruppen always made here to the cut-off point. In the west, we've just got to push there for Luciano's cut-off point there. The Osttruppen doing what they can here to fend off the advancing of Russian infantry. We'll have to see if Luciano's going to take up. He's going to go for more Osttruppen. And what will Luciano do here versus his opponent? Does go for a 4th Osttruppen squad here, filling up the front line here with the finest Osttruppen that you can find from, I don't know, somewhere around the Ukraine. Osttruppen in here. They're just going to around the conscript pushing against the Osttruppen there. Osttruppen basically being the designation of non, ethnic German troops in most cases, sort of formed up into swift battalions. They could be, penal or, prisoners of war from Russian war camps. They sort of managed there. Usually, though, they were treated pretty horribly there, so just getting to fight for the Germans usually was, a much great improvement, though they weren't treated much better there, reasonably well at least. They pretty quickly, though, turned out to be quite unreliable. In most cases, dropped, even on the Western Front, but they quickly surrendered to the Americans, who then proceeded to handle the Russians of Stalin and the Soviets. So, fun fact also note, by the way, the little icon here is actually a bit of a resemblance of the, what's called, I think it was I can't remember the sort of, a volunteer league or something they called it. I can't quite remember the name of it at the moment, but sort of in the late war formation, sort of 2 divisions formed up together of it, who, by the way, quickly rebelled against the Germans as well. But there were a lot of, shall we say, Russians, Ukrainians and all that, sort of in one way or the other fought for the Germans. Some also fought for some in the Waffen SS, and some of the fact were so brutal, the Germans quickly decided that was, not good. At least it was too brutal for them. But we got part wide in the east and the sandbags. We got Awesome pushing up in the centre. Conscripts also from there finding it out. We got Conscript moving in there as well. MD42 coming here. In the west, we got Luciano making a push as well. Here's so far decent map control here, basically stalling Taxman's Conscript Awesome where they can, and then making sort of more focused pushes elsewhere with the MD42s and the Pies and Leas and Lights. We got Flame from Engineers coming up to deal with that. No take up yet here, at least for Taxman. Luciano is taking up. Very good. I can't quite remember what that unit was called. Oh, this is the Russian Liberation Army, actually, it was called, or something Liberation Army. That was what it was called. But again, 2 divisions, basically both rebelled. One actually tried to start its own stuff, I think, in Czechoslovakia, and was roundly defeated by the Soviet army. Fun note. But yeah. Overall, not wildly reliable. Initially they kind of were, but I like to look at the Germans were winning, but once it started to look like the Germans were not winning, they were very quick to begin deserting and just surrender. Got a heavy skirmishing here in the west. Osttruppen versus Country Engineers. But the only sort of Eastern Europeans fighting for the Germans tends not to be something that's hugely talked about, especially by the Russians who kind of want to pretend it didn't happen, but it did happen. For example, I believe in, I think it was Stalingrad, there's roughly 30,000 Russians fighting for the Germans there. At least according to Anthony Beaver. I'm not a huge fan of, but you know, at least I assume he's like somewhat researched his sources, but could be wrong, but you know, that's just an example. Osttruppen versus Country in the west by the fuel point. MG42 on watch here to at least prevent any sort of direct push by the cough on there by Taxman, and we got Shocktroopers out versus the Osttruppen. By the way, Shocktroopers are absolute bloody gold, since the Osttruppen are already, you know, not amazing infantry versus the Osttruppen. I mean, they might as well be firing spaghetti. So I mean, these Shocktroopers are going to cut through Luciano like a hot knife through butter. Osttruppen, they're routed. You got the like to make a nice company up. Them Pentagon is something necessary, but also light vehicles. I think this is to help slow down the Shocktroopers. Heavily armed assault units, in fact, is what they were, with loads of grenades and other things. They're meant to clear up things in urban combat, and well, this isn't exactly an urban environment, but details. Fuel pumping is there by Taxman, pushing out aggressive there as Luciano. 2-2 on the way there for him and the German army, the Deutsche Armee. Shocktroopers going to hit there with the PPSH-41. There you go, Pioneers being pushed back here. Well, obviously, of course, Luciano reacts to this. I mean, most so players, while there's a slow increase, I would say, in the Shocktroopers overall, they're not quite catching on wildly in 1 versus 1 yet, but again, they can be absolutely devastating. As you can see, they do a lot of damage, plus they got access to the grenades, which of course are, you know, pretty solid as well. But there you go. We got the 2-2 and the Shocktroopers will struggle against that. Their body armor does not help versus the autocannon of the 222. Troops moving ahead here in the west. We can see the Luciano and the 76th Infantry Division has quickly lost a lot of ground here to the Soviet Army, to the 10th Mechanized Corps. Machine gun east out maneuvered by the conscripts. Pack 40 on the way there. Luciano's obviously expecting the Taxman to pull out some sort of T-70 soon, and he wants to be ready for it. Long term, he probably should consider some Pentagon to back up his Osttruppen. I do tend to find them rather crucial, personally. They're going to need to we still got the conscript about there. No anti-tank grenades up there for Taxman. He's at least researching them. He is not. He's yet to, by the way, still tech up. To do this, the conscripts, and east we've got a bigger push here with a lot of Osttruppen. That's the conscripts, some in cover, some in not. As long as the Osttruppen do have cover, of course, they get their cover bonus, which actually makes them hit things. Without it, they can't really hit the broadside of a barn. Conscripts there being blasted by the Osttruppen. But basically by late 1944-45, most Osttruppen are basically what were known as Heavies instead of Hilfswillige, which basically meant they were sort of doing, you know, rear line duties instead of frontline stuff. Some would still fight, you know, if they were sort of pulled into the front line. Some would, others would just assert. But basically that meant they did stuff like cooking, maintenance, all those sort of details like that. Basically freeing up the Germans to do the actual fighting. It's a little fun note there. MG42 Osttruppen there, growing points here as well. And the west we got the Shocktroopers in here with the Shocktroopers pushing them away. And the centre out, you can see the Luciano, of course, is once more swinging the battle back in his favour. Got the point. We'll have to see if Luciano's main thing out of the Doctrine, besides maybe Osttruppen, the Stugi. We'll be seeing sandbags, mines. Well, not sandbags, but, you know, bunkers. Interesting to see if we actually get to see the concrete bunkers. Which is a fun fact, is basically they just seem to have straight up lifted the model from Companies 1. Which kind of looks a bit low res in comparison, actually. But there you go. Punts are going to be on the way there for Luciano. Trenches being dug here by him as well in the east to help guard the fuel point there. Telemines up as well to deal with any Taxman's light vehicles, who's finally gone for a rapid tech up here. Supporting company, tank for 10 command. Noting he's actually yet to go for any munition or use any munitions really. No mines have been laid down to that Taxman. I definitely feel like that's a bit of an oversight there versus Luciano. Nothing further in terms of abilities or anything like that. We'll have to see. Osttruppen moving straight into two conscripts line of fire. That's going to be a quick route here in the west. Conscripts being pushed back by the two of the Osttruppen and the Pioniere. And of course we got the Shocktroopers. 2 kills there. Pioneer's going to get shredded here if they knock out their green, popping a grenade. There we go, well fortified position here by Luciano, of course. Oh, we do actually not have Molotovs saved by Taxman. Interesting though, you'd figure he'd get Molotovs off. He still hasn't bothered researching grenades as well. Some interesting choices there, would say, by him. Check out this, the Wehrmacht, you generally tend to go for Molotovs very fast, but Taxman here so far seems to be less concerned with. There we go, Punch with the wing up to back up the troops here. Giving Luciano a bit more offensive edge versus Taxman. One engineers on the way for him might be considering minesweepers, because he's probably starting to worry that, you know, Luciano, of course, is a competent player again, if not really good. And obviously, he's very likely to lay down mines, and if, you know, Taxman T70 hits a telemine, Taxman's going to be very sad, and Luciano's going to be very happy. And obviously, you're not looking to please your opponent. That's a reasonable thing there. Support and call, they're being prepared by Luciano. He's got the tech going on foot. T7 moving ahead. Got mines for an engineer squad spotting the telemine. But there you go. Pack 40 takes out the T70, meaning he might as well not immediately bothered anyways. Nice work there by Luciano, punishing Taxman there for a moment of laxity, a bit of a tactical oversight. Constantly moving ahead here. It's still in the Molotov, so. And also looks like he's losing the engineers, so he can't even, you know, flash it out there. He could maybe grab the flamethrower there. Machine gun pushed out, very good. Interesting enough that he retreats there, but I'm guessing it's because of the massive breakthrough on the right flank, which threatens to envelop here. And of course, there's a potential. I mean, he doesn't know Taxman has yet to research Molotovs or anything like that, but obviously, you should assume it. And it could very well be that Taxman is just operating on one really big bluff there, like he's just pretending he's got them. He's just, you know, can't be bothered to use them, and Luciano in that case is taking the bait. It's a bit hard to say, but it is one massive bluff there. I mean, Taxman's got some huge bowls. Sandbags up, very good. No mines again. He's finding a lot of munitions. I mean, it could be he's planning on just bombing the stuffing out of Luciano at some point. You see, they're constantly calling in those bombing strikes there, but I mean, that would be pretty ambitious in some ways. And there you go. Big assault. We got Contra in the trench already. Punch goes Osttruppen, a huge glob of men there from Luciano. A sea of green. And a storm of bullets. We got the Shocktroopers going in. I need to be careful. They do get focused on it. They could take some damage. Still, Taxman take back control. He's going for a second T70. That's very interesting. And there you go. Grenade against all of these climbed up infantry, of course. Gets only one. So machine gun suppressing the Shocktroopers need to retreat. T70 almost done. But Taxman is definitely feeling like he's got sort of the long end of the stick. He wants to commit to a second T70 at this stage rather than taking up. Luciano's support court is done. He'll be able to go, well, almost done. He can go for a quick Stu G. We could just wait for the Panzer IV. We'll have to see what ends up with here between Taxman and Luciano. Constantly there, about to get wiped up with the 2-2 as Luciano makes a deep strike there with 2-2. And there go T7 arriving, saving poor Petro there from being annihilated. And there you go, he finally goes for anti-tank grenades. You figured go for those sooner, alongside Molotov, but Taxman so far has been very keen on not going there. Still, he's maintaining good map control. He's got fuel edge there as well, at least for a brief while. And of course, that's one thing to keep in mind about Crossroads. It actually has more points than most other maps on average. Like, you hold a large chunk of the map, you actually gain a phenomenal edge compared to other maps in terms of resources. So that's something Luciano has to be worried about. I mean, he can easily, get swarmed by tanks if he's not careful. Of course, if Taxman begins, churning out those T-34 76s, Luciano could be in for a very unpleasant ride. But looks like he's going for the Panzer IV. Shocktroopers moving in. Pack 40 could get wiped here. T7 moving in. Damage into the troops, that's pretty bad. T7 going in here. Machine gun opening up. Almost got the Pack 40, but can't quite finish it off there. Meanwhile, they got the churning on the Osttruppen in the trench. Luciano was too focused on the Pack 4 and the 2-2. They forgot about the trenched Osttruppen and lost them. Nice little turnaround there, but Taxman even didn't get the primary target. He was able to at least deal some damage, though. I doubt Luciano's going to be kept awake at night by the loss of an Osttruppen squad. There we go, Luciano's on the way with the Panzer IV to back up the 76th Infantry Division. Troops sitting out, the T70 falling back. We'll have to see if Taxman protects up. He's going to try and stall for the ISU, which I honestly not recommend. At least not without, you know, a pair of medium tanks and to keep the front occupied and keep Luciano under pressure and then pulling for the ISU. I mean, just stalling for the ISU could very well give Luciano what he needs to, you know, really gain an edge with the Panzer IV, particularly since Taxman right now is incredibly short on anti-tank weapons. I mean, he's going for the SIS-3, which is going to help, but still, there's a massive lag of anti-tank there, and he's, again, despite having all these munitions and everything else, he's not really laying down any mines, which, you know, again, would be great in just, you know, slowing down Luciano's assaults, you know, snaring up his tanks. But there you go, Panzer V for Luciano and the 76th Infantry Division. It's an in from the nearby 14th Panzer Division to provide support. It was not uncommon on the Eastern Front, and overall as the war progressed to see a Panzer Division find its arm and assets split away from the division to provide support wherever they could on the Eastern Front. Though of course also lessening the offensive power of any Panzer Division at any time, because again, the tanks were all over the place. Great on the defense, but you know, less amazing offensively. We got mines going down here for Taxman. Fine, that's a surprising large amount of time there for a certain player to begin laying down mines. And again, he's got a lot of munitions. He could be laying down a lot of mines.
Enemy forces are attempting to capture our territory.
Shocktroopers on the right, they're closing in Metchney too. Panther Force shoots as joining in. There you go. Osttruppen arriving in the east. More mines down the field gun opening up. I suspect the reason he's beginning to laying down armor is again that, you know, connected with the field gun. He's more, I think, worried about armor than anything else at this stage, which could possibly indicate he's actually going to stall for the ISU 152, not 162, but 152, which would be a very ambitious move there by Taxman. I mean, the ISU is an absolute bastard once it is there, due to basically just being, you know, a tank destroyer that also works as a, you know, heavy assault gun, because again, you just switch between what it needs to deal with, and that makes it very flexible, very strong, and an absolute pain in the posterior. And in that sense, better than both the Elephant and the Up-T, because again, it's just, you know, naturally more flexible. Anyways, Panzer IV, they're falling a bit back. Here we got the machine in the trench, but of course, keep in mind the machine can only shoot in either the two sort of broad sides, the slimmer sides or the narrow sides. It can't fire on. And if he gets a flank in the trench, is in a rather awkward spot. Coming in here, machine turning about. They got the T coming in, they're flanking it. There we go, very nice. 2-2 with a damaged engine. Big speeding push here. They got Luciano coming into counter flank. Shocktroopers in the retreat path here. Oh dear, we could see the machine taken down. No, no, it gets away. It gets away. Feeling something to do with the Panther IV. He's tried to. Good hit. They know the machine gun does go down. Pioneer's going to make a rush for it. He pops a grenade here on it. Trying to anticipate the moves there of him. T-7 playing counting fire there. Panther IV falling back. Pack 40's up to cover. Can he nab it? He could have tried maybe popping a smoke in there, but didn't work out. It looks like he won't be able to seize the machine gun here from Luciano. Still, absolutely tense stuff here. Taxman is getting ever closer to the ISU 152. Luciano is struggling with resources. He's really behind in this regard. The ISU could prove to be absolutely, you know, devastating against Luciano, despite, you know, him taking more tanks out. He's not quite, you know, getting it there. I think in part this also because he's focusing, I think, too much on Taxman's movement here and not focusing enough on what he's not doing, which of course is defending in the west. In this regard, you see up something that would be helpful. He's taking up himself. Most likely, though, I think it's actually just to upgrade the Osttruppen with light machine guns. I do not think he's going to go immediately for a Panther that he could. But being able to upgrade all of his Osttruppen light machine guns would give him some benefits versus all these conscripts. Taxman, meanwhile, going for a maximum machine gun to help contain this. Possibly sensing, you know, the Osttruppen light machine guns are coming to ruin Taxman's day. Panzer IV need repairs. More pioneers there for Luciano. Luciano, by the way, benefit from mines as well. More tenor mines, S-mines. And of course, Taxman just benefit from, you know, infinitely more mines. But at least he's put some down now. Goodbye to Lightning there against the conscripts. A old World War I tactic used by the Stormtroopers there. It was, you know, reasonably good for clearing out trenches. Plus, it was also a pretty good anti-tank weapon. In fact, it was also used in the early stages of World War II for it. And might actually be used later on, so maybe we can add that one and say the engine block. It's probably going to do some damage. So a little fun fact there. And, well, I can't say I fully anticipated that, but he's actually going for the heavy panzer corps. He's going straight for it. A bold move there by Luciano. Very bold move. And we got, holy smokes, we got sector artillery. He's actually using that one. Wow. You do not get to see that ability more, though, of course, once it got buffed, it does see some more usage, but still. Holy smokes, there you go. Heavy fire raining down all the place. Sadly, not hitting anything, but it does mean that Taxman completely withdraws from Luciano's territory rather than risk losing men. So, I mean, I guess it, did some purpose, some good. But I imagine Luciano might have hoped for something a bit more impactful. Obviously, he actually ends up upgrading his Osttruppen. He's going for more panzer grenadiers, by the way. Very good. Again, crucial there. Some particularly supporting any armor he might get. Taxman is getting ever closer to the ISU 152, also known as the Sphero Boy or Beast Killer. Pioneers is country in the west. They're going to need some heavy support there. Pushing out the centre of the Osttruppen, the Panzer von the machine gun. Panzer is on fire from the T-70. Two still on the move, and there he goes. Second Panzer squad out here for Luciano. Panzer shooting at the T-70 and misses. Field gun carrying the centre here. Half 8 veterans 1. Panzer doing when he can, taking hits there from Mrs. 3. Turning hit, there we go. Pioneers and late for Luciano in the east. Shocktroopers constantly up there. Osttruppen in the trench with the Pack 40 there exposed. Could be a bit of a loss here for Luciano if he's not careful. And there you go. Damage engine. Bombing strike on the Pack 40. Nice angle he's calling in from. By the way, he won't even catch the 2-2 with it. Oh, Scheiße! He does catch the 2-2. He does not get the Pack 40, but the 2-2 does go down. Osttruppen routed from the trench. In the west, we've got Conscripts. Panzer grenadiers here. Panzer there. A bit of a bad spot. There were no cars. The ace conscript. We're still ending up doing a bunch of damage. There you go. Gabalta Laudanum. If Taxman is not paying attention, that's going to be a wipe. And, oh no, not quite. But still the Panzer. Oh, so close. In the end, though, Taxman caught in the ISU 152. Luciano still some time off from any armor. He's definitely going to need a Panther thing to have a decent chance versus that. In the center, T-70 is causing Luciano a bit of grief there. So there you go. ISU 152 out, based on the chassis of the IS-2. There's also the ISU 122, which is a tank destroyer of sorts, which basically uses the same gun as the IS-2, but again, without a turret. Fun fact. I was setting up with that one, adding the pin-up machine gun. Note, by the way, the Russians really only added pin-up machine guns to the heavy armor during World War II, or any sort of police armor, since they could vote for it. It was only in the Cold War they began adding pin-up machine guns to some of the other tanks, besides the heavier stuff. Fun fact. You can see the Taxman's playing hyper-aggressive with it. He's just going straight here to Luciano's doorstep to really just kick in the door. Knock, knock. Who's there? Stalin. Ah, scheiße, not again. In the west, also moving up here, we got light machines up for increasing the firepower a bit there. Panzer going up eastwards. Side, they need to be careful. Of course, one mistake, then his Panzer IV could go down rapidly to the ISU. Pack 40 Pioneers moving in. Bit of a defensive core here by Taxman in the centre. And MD-42 more on the way for Luciano to help deal with Taxman's infantry. I mean, he's still some time off from any signs of Panthers and whatnot. Fixing up the Panzer IV in the west. Continue movements there with the Osttruppen. Equipped with the MD-42. Which is not very likely with a gun until there's some action to say steal it or pick it up from someone who's dead. More likely than equipped either with MD-34s or even more likely just, light machine guns from captured nations. Czechoslovakian light machine guns or even Russian light machine guns, I suppose, could have been used for that purpose. Or French ones, I guess. Also moving right out to the T-70. Got the ISU moving up, the MD-40 ramming away there, it's bouncing off most of the shots. Panzer IV flanking and penetrates the ISU's armour, doing some damage there. Noting by here that Taxman's got a fat lead over Luciano in terms of victory points. Luciano's going to do some work there to turn this around. Overall, we got 2 abilities so far. Still no sign of machine gun bunkers of the concrete kind, nice, or Stugs. And certainly no Pack 43s either. But the Panther's not far off. Mechanized armor company up with it for Taxman. Very good. So he's going to bring up some heavy armor now to sort of back up his ISU. Let's say the T-70. Nope, I was waiting together here using the T-70 spot fire issue. That way you can avoid, being snuck up, and then can make easy use of the ISU's full range. So Very nice little combo there. It's certainly popular with a lot of, shall we say, more experienced players. It does require a bit more management, but again, well utilised, it is really good. Ooh, set off the mine there. Panzer IV with Schützen added. Fifth moving up to deal with the flanking Panzer he's tried to, but instead gets caught off guard and is quickly being routed. We got the Osttruppen as well there. Luciano is very close here to the Panzer V. Correct, the Panzer from assists 3 ISU shoots. House collapses. Good thing he didn't pop a unit inside it then. Lost a Panzer Grenadier squad. That's definitely a shame there for Luciano. Probably should replace that at some point. But right now I would say the Panther's probably a bit more priority here for Luciano than more Panzer Grenadiers. ISU shoots and I'm not entirely sure that penetrated a bounce. That definitely penetrated. That definitely went through. 100 points left here for Luciano. He's going to have to do some heavy lifting, I think, at this stage. Shed being destroyed by the ISU 152. Only a very impressive shed, that, so it seems a bit, you know, cruel to just destroy that shed. But there you go. Luciano is finally adding a Panther to his arsenal. After much begging and pleading with Corps Command, he was able to get them to release a Panther as well from the 14th Panzer Division. Pack being moved about. Panzer being secured. Panther halfway done or so. Taxman has yet to go for any additional armour. He's a bit suffering on manpower to do that. Ooh, close to full up, and the Panzer Grenadiers and the T-Sin will finish off there. Is not good there for Luciano. I mean, that partly just, of course, put him to 2 infantry squads, but losing the Panzers in particular would be quite uncomfortable. Oh, managed to survive. That was so close there. Fighting for the western point here, we got machine guns and Osttruppen covering the western approach here. Panther's almost done, and we got a bombing strike again here against. Oh, it's against the machine gun and Pack 40 bunched out there. Bit of a mistake there by Luciano, and both machine gun and Pack crews die. I mean, they can still be operated again, but still, that is a lot of manpower which is going to expend on it. In the west here, the machine goes down there. 2 Luciano's defenders, and there you go. Pack 40 taking hit from the field gun and the ISU 152. Panther though is ready here for Luciano. Luciano's going to try and flank here the ISU. A boat maneuver between the field guns nearby, but looks like Luciano's decided now is the time. It is now or never. But it could end up with him throwing away the Panther here. Over lone health. Panther was moving in. Need to get the Pack 40 back in action on support. Oh dear. Using the Panther's base now, sending in the Panther 4 here. Oh, direct hit. But he's managed to get past it. There's nothing else can support the ISU at that angle. Pioneers wing in. Pack 40's been accrued. Oh, the ISU taking heavy damage. Could this work out from there? Go Panther 4 blitzing past. Doesn't make it though. Doesn't make it. Pioneers spotting here for the Pack 40. Almost got it. ISU bouncing a shot from the Pack 40. He's moving up the Panther. Panther supporting a bomb grenade over the field gun. Almost got it. ISU is down. And absolutely ridiculously ballsy assault here from Luciano. Pulled it off, destroying Taxman's ISU, taking out a field gun. And actually leaving Taxman with very few units left now. This might just be the point here, but there we go. Taxman's having none of it. He's calling in the air support to take out the Panther. The field gun is blocking the path of movement for the Panther. No, the Panther dodges it. Taxman misjudged it. Or he assumed he would try and get away by pulling backwards, and Luciano then foresaw and just moved ahead. That can actually be a trick, by the way. Sometimes your opponent will predict you next to try to get out of it, moving backwards, and you just move forward, you just move ahead. He's calling another ISU, but still, Taxman's losses have been rather heavy there. Thanks to that armor maneuver, again, he just sort of kept trying to deal with the armor, and then Luciano basically crept in, using everything else to destroy things around the tanks. Nasty little clever play there. He's going to need more pioneers to fix it up. He's also going to, I think, need more armor here, but still, this has left Taxman a bit crippled. He's still got a victory point lead. He still, of course, has another ISU, but now he can't easily follow up with anything else, since now the second ISU has consumed most of Taxman's resources. So he's going to have to play this ISU perfectly to, like, the most perfect ever. He's going to get destroyed. Because if he loses that too easily, I mean, he's got no way of coming back. I mean, he is very much all in on this. Panther being fixed up there. Victory points, fuel points being secured. He's still down at 42. He needs to be careful. He got the ISU there roaming about, and again, very aggressively. He is so committed to against Luciano. There goes, shoots, misses. And of course, signals to Luciano, A, there's a second ISU, so he's just consumed a lot of resources on the second one. I mean, of course, there's a position where he doesn't anything else for anything else, of course, with the correct one. Bang grenade for the advancing Shocktroopers, nice hit there. Pack shoots, bounces, pants, they need to retreat. Great hit on the Pack 40, but he does survive somewhat. An actual anti-tanker Bible would have not. In fact, in most cases, when an anti-tanker was spotted, it was usually dead. There you go, Panther's going to flank the ISU. They're taking advantage of him just stuffing in there. He's going to get behind it in this regard. Taxman's got a bit of an issue. He's got no way of easily covering up the flank because, again, he's only got the ISU now. The field gun is gone. He's got no tanks to say cover it up there. And there you go, the ISU is down. Shocktroopers need to get out of there now. Oh, he retreated too late there. Bombing strike again. And oh, Osttruppen on the center victory point annihilated. More Shocktroopers out here. But Taxman is taking heavy losses here against Luciano. 19 points left though. 19 points left. I mean, Taxman could theoretically still win this, but the way he's playing this. 15 points left. $11. Oh my god. 10. Taxman's got 2 units left, but he's still in this thanks to the victory pony. But again, just about barely. And there you go, sector artillery called in. This is kind of again, we've just been able to bring up more arm to back up the ISU, and rather than just going for a second ISU, might have had a bit of chance overall, but I feel like again, the ISU number 2 was a bit much. Still, he's made the stall here. 7 points left over here for Luciano. 7 points. I mean, Taxman still is 436. And they're crushing the Shocktroopers. Try and see if your bulletproof armor works against this. This thing weighs like 50 tons. Doesn't it 40? I don't know. It's heavy though. So what Taxman's going to do now, I mean, he's got very few units left. And again, he's got a victory point here that is impressive. But Luciano's still got a larger force and can increase the lockdown the points here. So how will Taxman handle this? Because at the moment, it seems like Taxman is making a lot of increasingly bad short-term decisions. As again, he just tries anything, just gain those few victory points extra to win this. But again, it's just putting him into a vicious circle where he can't ever get that, because again, he's just constantly throwing away units for that just short-term gain. And it does happen, you know, that lust for victory can make you forget all about long-term strategies and tactics, and just constantly make you burn out all of the opportunities to get to push that victory through fast. But again, it just comes to the cost of any actual victory, because at that point you're just blinded, can't see, and then you just keep making all these terrible trades just because you think you can just get this victory point through, you can win fast, and then you don't have to bother. And I think that's kind of what happened here with Taxman. I mean, he's more or less crippled. Yeah, he's pretty much given up here. So there you go. We're just going to stop here because it's like just going to be so minutes of him doing absolutely bugger all. Happens sometimes. The play just goes away. I guess he's a bit tilted. So anyways, a absolutely vicious and nasty fight right here on Crossroads between Luciano and Taxman here with the new patch. Not really that's going to affect anything. The Variant, for example, didn't receive any changes, and the Surge also received, I think, minimal changes. So there you go. Nice little 1 vs 1. He's showing defensive, not a lot of it, but still showed some of the elements there, like the Osttruppen, of course, sector artillery. And I guess we got the studio at the inside. No bunkers, so much else. We got the trenches, I guess. I know Pack for the free there. Taxman made reasonable good use of the Doctrine, but again, people are so close. But I feel like Taxman, as he got ever closer, lost sight of the bigger picture of the longer term and just kept making all these, again, really sort of short term decisions, just, get that victory through and just, walk away. And he just kept, basically biting him in the arse, allowing Luciano to pull through. So, absolutely amazing defense by Luciano. An interesting strategy for sure. Had some issues here and there, but Stanley was able to pull through. But again, that was really close. Absolutely close. I mean, he's down to 7 victory points. I mean, Taxman again, how do you think played his cards a bit better at the end? Probably could have beaten Luciano. But again, he just kept throwing away everything there. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, like, share, comment on it. Tell your friends, tell your family. But don't tell your enemies. This is Pro Links and cheers. Thank you for watching. And hope to see you all tomorrow again for another exciting episode. Bye.